the Cold Slither concert. Everybody's here hanging out with our ladies. Oh, yeah. Zartan, why aren't you singing? Hey, tonight has to be all instrumental, blokes. It's all right, though. We have Torch over there to provide a sick guitar solo. That's if I don't get arrested tonight, boss. So what do you get in the package? Well, first of all, you get your Punker Don action figure. And he looks really cool. I mean, a lot of color on this figure. Consistent with the 90s toys aesthetic. Now, did I have this as a kid? I don't know. I might have. I really like Donatello. So odds are I did have him. You know, we had the Spaceman, Michelangelo, and the Samurai, Leonardo. Odds are we did have this. I did have this. I don't know. I'd also been about 12 years old. Um, you know, of course, the SpartanNerd, more of a He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe kind of guy, right? So, anyways, just from the bottom to the top, you've got green and yellow shoes. There's a point of articulation at the boot cut. You have blue jeans and with purple bandanas on the knees. One side is ripped, of course. Um, then you have, um, and you can see his green skin showing through there. So that's some paint apps right there. He has a pink bandana underneath his belt. Now, I don't know the story on the pink bandana there. That how would that work? And as a former punk myself, I'm not sure I would know how to make that work or what my purpose would be. Now, a belt with spikes on it, with a big D on it. Now that's something. The leather jacket there. In this case, Donatello would be shirtless, but he's got his yellow plastron. There is a necklace with a Ninja Turtle head uh, charm around it. That's a real metal chain in this case. He has spikes on one wrist that has no, that doesn't have a sleeve or it's ribbed at the top. A platform to move. Metal zippers. The other hand has brass knuckles on it, and bandanas around both elbows. And he has his classic Donatello purple mask, and this time a mohawk. I have him holding the record because it wouldn't show up good on my platform, so I just put it in his hand. He grips it just fine. The figure, his right knee feels like it's about to snap. So that is a mark off right there because I literally feel like it's about to snap. Around his back, you can see he has some damage to his coat. That bandana, once again, it's almost like it's a piece of underwear that's hanging out. So, anyways, what about these accessories? Okay, so Punker Don here is supposed to be a punk rocker. The Spartan Nerd himself has been in the punk scene way back in 1997, 98, 99, all the way up to a little bit after I was married in 2000. I had a roommate. We would go around and we would play acoustic punk. I was always more of a metal player. He was a true punk guy though. I mean, he had big spikes and like he even had like a pillow that had it was a rubber pillow with spikes on it, rubber spikes that stuck up. I mean, that guy. I wish I could get together with him again. You know, we had like a couple of little tiny shows, a couple of little fans. We had friends who would come see us. We didn't ever play any clubs. Now we went to clubs. There was a punk rock club I guess you would say, Christian punk scene. And there was this church that would have they had a skateboarding part, for instance, arcade machines inside, and also lots of punk rock. I probably saw 100 different bands. Some of them were truly terrible, and then some of them really good, and I still remember them. But does Donatello, his musical choices here, reflect punk rock? I'm not saying so much. Maybe new wave punk, but the guitar is the clue. Now, a guitar as an instrument, I can count on one hand how many times I've actually seen a guitar in person. And I'm a musician. Um, I saw one at a store somewhere, maybe at Greenville's Guitar Center. It's just not something you see real often. The tuning fork is another one. So, in my opinion, in punk rock, and most people's, even like Nirvana and stuff, your guitar goes out of tune while you're playing. No big deal. It's making you sound better. Unless it's terrible, just a little bit out of tune. It's just making you sound, nastier, heavier, more distorted, bothersome sound. So the tuning fork is a strange inclusion. I like that it has purple wrap, and I have a real tuning fork in Sir Oopsajek's hand right now because his hammer broke. So why do you have one, SpartanNerd? I'm a chorus teacher. Why wouldn't I have one? There's a chain here. That's a plastic chain. He has two alternate heads. One is just the mohawk head with glasses on. These are spiky glasses, and they're the kind of glasses that remind me of the Dark Knight, um, the Dark Knight Returns, Dark Knight Rises. What is that? I can't never remember the name of it. The Dark Knight. I was talking about that Spider-Man yesterday. The other one is the spiky pink hair, and guess what? Those are really sharp spikes. Now, the Spartan Nerd actually did have hair way back then, and I had pink hair. Briefly, his bow staff is interesting because it almost looks like a clarinet or something like that. It's like it has a mouthpiece on the end. At first, I thought it was a whistle. Then it's got these bumps that almost look like keys. It's not an instrument like that. It's a bow staff. I don't know what's going on there. And I thought, is it something about the microphone? Is it another way you could, another stand or something? But it's not. It's just the way they made the bow staff is kind of different. You've got three alternate hands. One of them is pointing, so he only has three fingers. So he's not only pointing, he's also giving you the middle finger, right? That's kind of a funny thing about this. Then you remember Super7 made their own action figures, the worst, and they all came with birdie fingers. So he looks really good, and that's the point. But one of the main draws here was this was pretty cheap. I got it off a Big Bad Toy Store in a sale, and it was under $20. That's a Super7 Ultimates for under $20. Um, so what's going to happen is Donatello is going to save the Cold Slither. Oh no, looks like Torch has been arrested. The show must go on, but how will we go on without a guitar player? And I still don't have a microphone. What? Before it could get ugly in here, Punker Don shows up to the rescue. Show must go on. So here is Donatello, Punker Don, with his fake tuning fork, and Sir Oopsajek with his real tuning fork. You know, Sir Oopsajek took a nasty fall the other day, and his hammer snapped off the peg, which is that hammer was huge and ridiculous. He couldn't hold it right anyway. Picked up this tuning fork at a state sale over the weekend, and it just seemed to be the perfect thing for him to hold, at least till I go back to work at the middle school, teaching course in a couple of weeks. So here we go. This is what he looks like tuning fork wise. I like this alternate head. I have to correct myself. There is no boot cut and his Doc Martens there. It's just through sculpted. So sorry about that mistake earlier. Here's Punker Don, and I looked it up. This bow staff is called, I've got it right here so I don't mess this up, Punk Funk Flute Bow Staff. I mean, it's a crazy instrument. In all of the punk rock bands I've seen, I've not seen any flute. Think I might. I'm pretty sure. I know I've seen saxophone. Okay, and I know this happened too. Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. I saw this like acoustic Christmas concert. Me and my wife went to it, and he had a saxophone player that had a big mohawk. Um, he didn't do any Fall Out Boy songs, but anyways, it was his solo act. A lot of xylophone, kind of strange music, but it was definitely punk. I would say it was punk rock or definitely punk inspired. So, I mean, Donatello playing that. Now, I'll tell you what instrument is really cool, and Donatello would be inclined to play. It is the MIDI wind controller. And guys that play guitars will know what I'm talking about because I don't know much about guitars, but I know about synth. All right, so I have a jam stick and I love that thing. A MIDI wind controller is similar to playing a synthesizer with a that works kind of like a clarinet. So it seems that metalheads and punk rockers can get along, regardless of what the movie SLC Punk says. Have you seen that movie? If not, I'm not going to say I recommend it. But Donatello, Punker Don, is sharing his chain and letting Metalhead have some singing to do. Wonder what that music would sound like. So it's 11:30 at night. I'm going to pop this Monster Energy. Let's compare two totally incomparable figures. Punker Don, which I paid less than $20 for. Super 7 Ultimates. And Heat Boys Donatello. I'm just saying, there's no comparing these two. Highly detailed. Also, Heat Boys, very expensive. Very expensive. I mean, I would like to have all four turtles of the Heat Boys variety, but man, you talking about you could buy some used cars for that amount of money. How about that? That's why the Monster Energy. So, what is the SpartanNerd's rating of Punker Don? Well, his sculpt is great. Lots of details on here. I really like. I like all the rivets on the jacket, and the little studs on the belt, and everything. Sculpted very nice and painted very nice, very bright, very 90s toy. We would call it neon, maybe. So this got those points. Articulation wise, I'm scared to bend his right knee. It feels like it's going to snap right off. You can peel the bandana back, you can see where that peg is stressed, and that was just me taking it out of the package and just checking the articulation. That has caused me not to be able to put him in different poses, and it's also made his balance suffer. So he has to have a point marked off of there. But accessories wise, I mean, these accessories make it really. The worst accessory is the record. Or I guess it's really the chain. I mean, you can do stuff with that chain, I guess, but most Ninja Turtles come with some kind of pizza. In this case, he came with something else this round, a record, and that's cool. I appreciate that humor that Super 7 has brought to it. The mic stand adds to the Cold Slither because somehow that set didn't come with a mic stand, and you know, this is another punk rocker for my collection. I mean, I don't have punk rockers in collection. It's another Ninja Turtle. It's somebody that I can add to Cold Slither just because Cold Slither is awesome. They didn't make a lot of other Rockstar Ninja Turtles in the 90s or now. So basically, I'm giving him a 4 out of 5, marking that 1 point off because of his knee problem. Do you agree or disagree, Hub City Geeks? Hey, like, subscribe, and comment, and go visit the SpartanNerd.com blog where I have a written version of this with comics showing off the little story that I made about the Cold Slither needing a mic stand and Torch getting arrested. Thanks.